So, here we are, Kamen Rider Geats episode 38. I just got done watching it and I had a lot of fun with this episode, but one question I want to ask is, after this current story arc, we're entering the next one next week, but where does the show go from here? As it's hard to guess and hard to predict with who the actual final boss is going to be. No doubt about it, it's going to be Seiru, as he seems to be a proper antagonist moving forward, and Nirium or Niriamu, however you want to pronounce it, is out of the picture now due to them dying in this episode. It's hard to say what's going to happen with this show moving forward, as there's still some things left unanswered, but there's still stuff to go moving forward with this show. But either way, we can talk about that for another day. Let's talk about Kamen Rider Geats episode 38, as like I said, this episode saw the debut of Ace getting his brand new power-up, and seeing this brand new power-up, well, we saw two. We saw Boost Mark III using its sort of berserker mode where it had the power to create black holes, and the tails were like extending and sort of shaping things out of reality and sort of making them disappear. That was really cool to see. But then we got to see his Mark 9 or Geats 9, and seeing this form was really freaking cool. Now, when the scans dropped, I really got a kick out of seeing these images in the scans, but seeing the suit in action in this episode, it was really cool, really hype, as it showed how broken and powerful Geats is with this brand new form, as he's able to reshape and rewrite reality, sort of having the powers of how he describes it, rebirth and destruction. And in this episode, he's able to stop Seiru's plan and sort of rewrite, well, not, I say sort of, but he is able to rewrite reality to how he sees fit. And it's really cool with how they do it at the end of the episode, where they do that grim, dark rule at the end, and then it just goes white and it says, Kamen Rider Geats has the power to reshape reality. So that's cool. That's cool indeed. Now, in typical Geats fashion, this episode moved and set up a lot of chess pieces on the board, and as the show is going to continue and move forward to the end game, these chess pieces will make their moves as well. So we learned some interesting facts in this episode. One of them being, which we kind of knew about or was hinted at, and that is Tsurumi being a goddess of creation, or her powers are going to awaken, and you could tell that Seiru was going to use her as the next goddess of creation and sort of use those powers to fully awaken them, so they can make her the next goddess of creation for the next Desire Grand Prix. So that's something they want to do. You had Nirium get shot by his assistant, which was kind of a weird scene when it happened, because he gets mad because he doesn't like how they're sort of toying with things or toying with Samori. He gets mad, he stands up, walk towards him. They do this really cool edit where it goes into that black and white sort of photo thing, and you see him have like a gun wound and he gets shot. And because like when it does the fancy edit when he gets shot, you wonder like how it happened. Did it happen so fast I didn't realize it? But no, it just sort of like, in the next scene you see the assistant's holding the gun and she's going to turn on him because she wants to rise to the ranks. It's like, your time is over, it's my time now. Typical broadcast television shenanigans, shooting people that rise up to the ranks. But I wonder where that's going to go moving forward, because if Ace is rewriting the world, I'm guessing that assistant is going to like hang out with Seiru now moving forward, because Nirium dies and sort of deletes himself, gets erased. I don't know if he got his flowers yet. Someone on Twitter, I haven't checked Twitter yet to see if he got his flowers yet, so if he did, someone tell me in the comment section down below, because flowers usually means he ain't coming back for a couple more episodes later down the line. So, don't know if he'll be back or not. But when the grand end was happening, a lot of characters were getting their memories erased, from Buffa to Kawa, but then you've got other characters who had their memories erased from the previous episode from getting their ID cores crushed. So, will they get their memories back later down the line? Because moving forward, it looks like Jamato are still around. There are some surviving Jamato and they're causing a muck, so I am curious to see what this final arc is going to do, and is it going to drag along as we move forward to the show, because we're on episode 39 next week. Where is the show going to go moving forward? Like, Seiru is the main big bad that we got to stop, but what what is he going to do in these next like couple of episodes to show that he's a big threat moving forward if Ace has this like ultimate god hand power to rewrite reality or rewrite the world and reshape it. But Ace also did meet his mother in this episode, which was a nice wholesome moment. He finally got to reunite with his mother. What was really weird about the scene is like the actress, I'll word this carefully. The actress is very young. You can see braces on her face. What they did, because you can see like the braces on her face like in a couple of scenes here and there. What they did is they dubbed her over with this famous Japanese voice actress who's been in a couple of animes here and there. So she didn't really speak, but she's trying to mouth to like the voiceover, but like because like I guess they don't want to show the braces, like she's not mouthing very well, but then you can sort of see it in some shots. So I guess they sort of wanted to make this whole telepathy thing going on, but either way, nice wholesome moment that he was able to reunite with his mother. Really nice. Ace's goal has finally been realized, where he got to reunite with his mother after so long. He finally got to do the thing that he's been wanting to do for the longest time. But his mother is also the one that gets destroyed at the end of this episode. So Ace gets to have one nice wholesome moment with her in this episode. Now, near the end of the episode, you see Jin and Kyun go back to their respective worlds. Who you didn't see go back in this episode is Bebera and Kekura, which, if you watched last week's episode, they made a wish that sort of interfered with this whole world wipe thing that was going on. So they're sticking around, and you see that in the next episode preview. And these two characters, although they're probably not going to be the final bosses of the show, they're still threats to be dealt with what their plans and motivations are, as they just want to be chaos incarnate. Now, Bebera was kind of not a huge threat. She was a threat in a couple of arcs ago leading up to the Yamato Grand Prix. And Kekura, we don't know the extent of Kekura's abilities, but he wants Keiwa to go through ultimate despair by making him lose something precious to him so he can see him morph into like a true rider or become a true rider by going through that story arc, what he views as the ultimate rider backstory. So he's got that plan in the back of his pocket that he wants to use. Now, I can see Buffa facing off with Bebera and Keiwa facing off with Kekura in this show, where they fight the people that were sponsoring them in this episode, or in sort of supporting them throughout the show. So I can see that showdown happening. Although the fight will probably be kind of a mess because they're giant CGI riders, so the fight won't be that cool if we get it, but we'll see what happens. Now, this episode I really enjoyed. Ace sort of talking to himself and sort of learning his new motivation in the episode was really cool. A lot of people were speculating of who the mystery in the mask would be, but it was like another version of Ace, I guess, his inner conscience of what he really wants. But it was cool to see in this episode. Not only that, Kyun screaming at Neon, making her trying to make her remember who she is before like everything had the big switch flipped on it. That was kind of a sad moment. But Keiwa had a really cool moment as well. Cool, but then it turned into a comedic moment where he's like, alright, I'm ready to fight this thing. Gets his memory wiped, starts screaming because he can't remember what's going on. So I think, I haven't watched the next episode preview enough, but he'll probably get his memories back. No doubt about it, because we saw in the next episode preview of, not Keiwa, Ace and that hanging out in sort of like the lounge room of the Desire Grand Prix. So we'll see what happens. But either way, I enjoyed this episode, thought it was really cool, got a kick out of it. And I am curious to see where we're going to go moving forward next week for the next couple of episodes, because Seiru's a big threat moving forward, but there's other bits and pieces that they set up in this episode and throughout the show that needs to be paid off before the next Kamen Rider series airs later this year. Plus, there's a movie coming out, but we don't know much about that. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this episode? Love it, hate it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. With that said, I'm going to bring this video to a close. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out, take care, bye.